Your last hire didn't work out because you were moving too fast to hire right. And today, I'm showing you the 10-minute AI workflow that lets you hire strategically without slowing you down. Hey, you're listening to She's That Founder, the show that helps women stop drowning in decisions and start owning their CEO seat with a little AI magic. I'm Dawn Andrews, and today we're talking about why your hiring process may be broken and how to fix it in as fast as 10 minutes. By the end of the episode, you'll know why founders who move fast hire wrong, and it's not just bad judgment. You'll learn the exact 10-minute AI workflow that gets you role clarity and the right interview questions, and you'll understand how knowing your DISC style helps you hire your complement, not your clone. Let's go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new year. Happy New Year. I'm so excited to be having this conversation with you today because this is one of those things that when people ask me what's the thing that I see across all the founders that I work with that drives me absolutely bananas, it is hiring really quickly, especially for founders who are underwater and looking for help as quickly as possible. But I see founders hire too quickly, fire too slowly, and not set themselves up for success. And so they have to do it over again. And getting people hired takes a lot of time and energy. This is what I see often. Maybe you've been running your business for 2, 3, or 5 years, and you're doing 8 jobs yourself. You're the founder, the CEO, the head of sales, customer service, operations, marketing. You're wearing all the hats, and you're covering every function because that's what early stage founders do. You move fast, you figure it out, and you build the plane while you're flying it. And that works really well until you need to hire. Because now you're supposed to slow down and get strategic and go deeper, which may or may not be your skill set. Now you're supposed to write detailed job descriptions, create interview processes, define success metrics, and you might not have an HR background. And more importantly, you don't have time for that. You're still doing the 8 jobs that I mentioned before. So you do what every overwhelmed founder does. You wing it. Girl, I get it. You put up a quick job post, you skim resumes, you do a 30-minute interview asking surface questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because it is the bane of every interviewee that's ever been asked a question in an interview. And then you hire based on good vibes and hope. 6 months later, maybe they're working out. Heck yeah. But maybe they're not working out and they still need too much hand-holding. They haven't really gotten the gist of the job that you're trying to have them do. They're not taking initiative or ownership. They're asking lots of questions about things that you feel like they should know by that time. And now you're doing their job on top of your other 8 jobs. Does that sound familiar? Listen, it's not that you hired the wrong person necessarily. It's that you may have never defined what right looks like. You didn't have role clarity. You didn't know yet what outcomes you needed, especially if it's your first hire in a new area. You just knew that you were drowning and needed help, and I understand. But what you've done is hired someone who seemed competent and nice, but you never asked questions that revealed how they actually solve problems, what they do when they don't know how to answer something, how they work when you're not watching, and what environment brings out their best work. Here's the thing. You can't hire for a role you haven't clearly defined. And you can't ask good interview questions if you don't know what you're listening for. That is the real problem. Not the speed, not your judgment, not bad luck, not the talent pool these days. Like, please stop blaming everything on Gen Z, please. You're trying to hire strategically while moving at builder mode speed, and those two things don't work together. Unless you use AI to support you in doing the strategic thinking in 10 minutes instead of 10 hours. So here's the workflow. Ready? This is my 10-minute AI workflow for putting together a good hiring package. Here's the first prompt. This is the role clarity prompt, and you're going to feed AI this prompt. I need to hire for, name the position. Here's what I'm currently doing. This is what you're doing as the founder, and then list those tasks. What outcomes does this role need to deliver? What does success look like in 30, 60, and 90 days? And then hit send. AI will separate tasks from outcomes. It will show you what this person needs to deliver, not just do. So here's an example. You might say, I need someone to handle customer emails, and AI will push you. What's the outcome? faster response time, higher satisfaction scores, reduced escalations. So now you start to refine what you're actually hiring for. Step 2, this is the interview question generator. So here's your next prompt. Ready? Based on these outcomes, generate 10 interview questions that reveal problem-solving ability, initiative, and red flags. And then hit send. And from that, you'll get questions like, tell me about a time you didn't have clear direction. What did you do? Walk me through your ideal first 30 days in this role. Or what happens when you hit a roadblock and I'm not available? Not generic questions, role-specific and outcome-focused. And truth be told, there are times that I've hit this prompt and gotten the most extraordinary interview questions that are detailed and connected to the role outcomes in step 1. Okay, here's your next step. Answer pattern analyzer. So you can do this during the interview. I don't recommend it, but you can. Or you can do it after the interview. So you feed AI the answers or the responses that you got from your notes during the interview. And you ask it this. What patterns do you see? What red flags are revealed? Where do their skills align with what we need? And where are the gaps? And AI will help you listen for what they're actually saying, not just what you want to hear or what you think you thought you heard. And then hit send. So in translation, 10 minutes, not 10 weeks, and you didn't slow your business down to do it. Now here is where this gets even better. Once you know what the role needs, you need to know what you need. Because here's also what I see constantly. Founders who hire people who think like them, solve problems like them, communicate like them, but then they wonder why nothing changes. And in hiring people that think like them, solve problems like them, communicate like them, they think that they've duplicated themselves when what they've done is set themselves up for power grabs and power struggles. Because in your business, as you're growing, you don't need another you. You don't need a founder. You need to move yourself into the CEO role and then find people that can complement and support you, that can fill in strengths where you have weaknesses as you continue into the next chapter of your business. And that's where the DISC profile comes in. When you understand your DISC style, and DISC is an assessment you can take, and I use the Work of Leaders assessment especially with founders. So when you understand your DISC style, whether you're a high D who moves fast and hates details, or a high C who needs data and process, you can hire your complement, not your clone. So here's a real example. If you're a visionary founder who is all ideas and strategy, you don't need another idea person. You need a high C implementer who loves the details and the step-by-step that you hate. But if you don't know your own style, you'll hire based on who you vibe with, which always means somebody who thinks like you. So having your DISC information, concrete understanding of how you work, what motivates you, what stresses you, that's DISC. And you add that to these AI workflows, that is how you'll speed up hiring and get it right. And if you're thinking, this makes total sense, but I need help actually doing it with my real team and my real business, that's exactly what the DISC Work of Leaders Deep Dive solves for. It's a 90-minute private session where we diagnose your natural leadership style and where it's limiting you. We map your gaps across vision, alignment, and execution. And we build your personal CEO development plan with specific behavior changes and a hiring plan to support it, created by AI systems that hold you accountable to CEO-level thinking. It's the difference between knowing what to do and actually becoming the leader your business needs. You can book it now at dawnandrews.com/DISC. Okay, let's recap. 1, your hires didn't fail because you're bad at hiring. They failed because you were moving too fast to define what success looks like. And when you're in builder mode, that founder speed that you have works when you're working solo, but it crashes when you add people. 2, the 10-minute AI workflow that I shared today gives you role clarity, role-specific questions, and pattern analysis of their answers. It's strategic hiring without slowing you down. And then 3, add DISC and stop hiring your clone. Start hiring your complements. That's when things actually start to come off your plate and get done well. So here's what to do today. Before you post another job, run the role clarity prompt. Just that one step. Ask AI, what outcomes does this role need to deliver? Get that clear first. Work that prompt, Lovey. Everything else gets easier from there. Girl, you've been doing this alone too long. I get that you may be in a stage where you can't really afford an HR person or even an outsourced HR person or a recruiter. So it is time to learn to build a team that actually takes things off your plate. And that starts with hiring right. All right, girl, I will see you on Thursday for a quick rant episode. But until then, go hire smart. You're amazing. See you soon, Lovey.